Blue Book Dracula, Audiobook Summary. Dracula is a classic Gothic horror novel told through journals, letters, telegrams, and newspaper clippings, weaving the terrifying story of Count Dracula and his arrival in England. The story begins with Jonathan Harker, a young English solicitor, who travels to Transylvania to assist Count Dracula with a property purchase in England. Initially, Harker believes he is visiting a wealthy nobleman, but he gradually realizes that Dracula is far from ordinary. The castle is eerie and labyrinthine, the servants are strange, and the Count exhibits supernatural powers, including extraordinary strength and the ability to scale walls like an animal. Harker becomes increasingly alarmed by Dracula's strange habits, nocturnal activity, and apparent control over 3 female vampires who reside in the castle. Harker soon discovers the terrifying truth: Dracula is a vampire, an undead creature who feeds on human blood to maintain his immortality. Harker is held captive in the castle, and the 3 vampire women attempt to seduce and attack him. Dracula prevents them, claiming Harker for himself. Desperate, Harker begins searching for ways to escape and eventually succeeds, fleeing to Hungary after a harrowing ordeal. Meanwhile, Dracula sets sail for England aboard the ship Demeter, bringing with him boxes of his native soil, essential for sustaining his vampiric powers. The ship arrives wrecked at Whitby, and the captain is found dead, with the crew mysteriously missing. A large black dog, Dracula in another form, leaps ashore, marking the beginning of his menace in England. Back in England, Mina Murray, Harker's fiancée, and her friend Lucy Westenra reside in Whitby. Lucy, a beautiful and innocent young woman, becomes the target of Dracula's attention. Lucy has 3 suitors: Arthur Holmwood, Dr. John Seward, and Quincy Morris, and eventually accepts Arthur's proposal. However, Dracula preys upon her, visiting her at night, draining her strength, and causing mysterious illnesses. Despite multiple blood transfusions administered by her friends and Dr. Seward, Lucy grows weaker. Alarmed, Dr. Seward calls upon Professor Abraham van Helsing, a knowledgeable Dutch physician and expert on obscure diseases, who quickly identifies the signs of vampirism. Van Helsing and the group of friends, including Harker, Seward, Holmwood, and Morris, attempt to protect Lucy. However, despite their interventions, Lucy dies and subsequently rises as a vampire, preying upon children at night. Van Helsing and the men confront her in her coffin, ultimately destroying her to save her soul, piercing her heart, and decapitating her to prevent further attacks. The horror of Lucy's transformation and the need to destroy her body underscores the novel's exploration of life, death, and morality in the face of supernatural evil. Dracula then turns his attention to Mina. He bites her, creating a psychic bond between them that allows him to influence and torment her remotely. Mina's life becomes increasingly perilous, and Harker, now recovered and married to Mina, joins Van Helsing and the others in their quest to hunt Dracula down and destroy him. Using the psychic link, Van Helsing is able to trace Dracula's movements and anticipate his attacks. The group learns that the Count intends to return to Transylvania to regain his full strength and escape permanent destruction. The pursuit of Dracula is perilous and stretches across Europe. The group splits up, with Van Helsing accompanying Mina to protect her while Harker, Holmwood, Morris, and Seward track Dracula through Europe, discovering his hiding places, including abandoned castles and hidden crypts. Along the way, they encounter the horrors and cunning of Dracula, whose supernatural abilities allow him to manipulate, intimidate, and evade capture. The men's determination to protect Mina and stop Dracula tests their courage, intelligence, and moral resolve. The climax occurs as the group corners Dracula's caravan of coffins, guarded by gypsy servants transporting the Count toward Transylvania. A final confrontation ensues. Jonathan Harker and Quincy Morris strike Dracula simultaneously, with Harker cutting his throat and Morris stabbing him in the heart. Dracula disintegrates into dust, finally ending his centuries-long reign of terror. Quincy Morris dies from his wounds, having sacrificed his life for the success of the mission. Mina is freed from the vampire's curse, her life and soul restored. In the epilogue, several years later, Harker and Mina live a peaceful life with their son, named Quincy in honor of their fallen friend. The group of vampire hunters remains connected by their shared ordeal. Dracula's death symbolizes the triumph of courage, friendship, and human ingenuity over ancient evil. Dracula is not merely a horror story, it is also a commentary on Victorian anxieties about sexuality, disease, foreign influence, and the clash between modernity and superstition. The novel explores themes of loyalty, bravery, morality, and the struggle between good and evil, all set against the eerie backdrop of Europe and the mysterious power of the supernatural. Bram Stoker's Dracula remains a timeless tale of suspense, terror, and Gothic intrigue, influencing countless works of literature, cinema, and popular culture. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel.